A first listen and analysis of Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. It's the 29th of June 1977. Roger Waters is backstage at one of his shows at the Philadelphia Spectrum and he is in agony. He has crippling stomach cramps and his doctor prescribes him tranquilizers that apparently could kill a horse. So it helps him with his pain. However, he can't really feel his hands and he loses his connection with the crowd. And this is the creative seeds that are planted for the album The Wall and this track Comfortably Numb. Like I've discussed in their album Dark Side of the Moon, this album was raw with creative differences between Waters and Gilmour. They fought constantly and fought during the making of this track where both of them had different visions for it. Waters saw it as this big orchestral number and Gilmour saw it as a bare bones sort of track. They came to a compromise and what you end up hearing is sort of a mix of the two visions together. This track is often considered one of Pink Floyd's best and I can't wait to get into it. So let's get into the reaction. If you do end up liking the video, hit the like button, perhaps share it with a friend. Also, if you got a sec, subscribe to the channel. We have daily music analysis and reactions on the channel. I'm heading towards 10,000 subscribers, which is pretty damn cool. So if you want to be a part of that journey, hit the subscribe button, join the fun. This is Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. Seagulls and military drums. This must be part of the concept for the album. Whoa.
Is there anyone home? Come on now. I hear you're feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain, get you on your feet again.
Wow.
Relax. I need some information first. Just the basic facts.
If there's one thing I've learned about listening to Pink Floyd's music is their ability to really create a concept that is all encompassing. I mean, if you listen to all aspects of this song so far, what is it doing? It's building up this sense of loneliness and sort of detachment from reality, if you ask me. Now, what a cool way to start a record. The way they kind of like built up this echoey, drony noise into a hello, is there anybody in there? Now, of course, this is, if you take it literally, this first verse by Roger Waters is probably from the perspective of the doctor he was speaking to, right? I just need some information first, just the basic facts. Can you show me where it hurts? What a doctor would say, right? But if I've learned anything about Pink Floyd's music and how sort of brilliantly profound it can be at times, is that I would say that this is perhaps looking at loneliness more than anything. Is there anybody home? Is there anybody in there? Like, this is like a search for sort of oneself that you might have lost. They do that quite a lot. They speak about aging in quite a lot of their tracks and like losing that person that once was there. So maybe this is another record about that again. Let's keep this thing rolling. Brilliant writing by Waters, man. Always brilliant poetic writing.
Can you show me where it hurts? There is no pain you are receiving.
Gilmour's voice.
A distant ship smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves.
What a great line.
It's moved, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I had fever. My hands felt just like two balloons. Now I've got that feeling.
Okay, I know we're about to go into sort of an instrumental break. Just really quickly, I just want to talk about the music behind the scenes, right? About this sort of orchestral instrumentation being played in the background is absolutely brilliant, man. Like in the first verse especially, it was very, very subtle. It's come on a little bit stronger now. It's like just the hint of like violins being played in the background, and now it's like this sort of misty, mysterious atmosphere is creating in the background of what Gilmore's doing, who's got such a powerfully cutting voice. It just cuts through the instrumental. Always brilliant voice by Gilmore. Okay, and what is he describing in this thing, right? Now, one bit of it that really stuck out to me was when I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt just like two, right? So it's like almost he's so ill at this moment in time. He's so sick that he's like sort of been transported to another time in his life where he was absolutely weak and helpless. And as a person who's just been through an illness, terrible fever, I understand that this sort of fever dream atmosphere that they've created it's really hitting home at the moment for me. Having just got over that illness, yeah, sometimes you do feel like you're transported to somewhere else and you're like sort of hallucinating. Really cool. I'm going to take this back again and go and let this thing play out for a bit.
Understand, this is not how I am. I have become
Ah, the harmonies. Really interesting. What was kind of coming through there was an acceptance of what is happening. Really interesting sort of idea played out through the music of that. Like very blissful guitar solo that was. And I guess what they're trying to portray with that is when essentially the tranquilizer started kicking in, right? I guess what a way of showing how something feels. They did it through the music. Through the music, they were able to transmute what would have felt like to have been on that tranquilizer. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Really cool. Let's keep this rolling.
okay. Just a little pinprick. There'll be no more. But you may feel a little sick. Can you stand up? I do believe it's working good. That'll keep you going through the show. Come on, it's time to go. There is no pain, you are receding. A distant ship, smoke on the horizon.
What a great line.
You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I caught a fleeting glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, but it was gone. I cannot put my finger on it now. The child is grown, the dream is gone.
Okay, again, speaking about the sort of topics and concepts that are being brought up, right? A distant ship, smoke on the horizon. It's again this sort of hallucination that they're creating with the music. essentially mimicking what would it have been like to be on this tranquilizers. Or if you want to take it another way, you know, music is always up to interpretation. It's perhaps the idea of what it would have felt like to be absolutely alone, to be going through this pain. And then what came to me as I heard that initial solo was the idea of like accepting of those feelings. Comfortably numb in itself is a sort of oxymoron, right? You can't, to be numb is to not feel anything. So to be comfortably numb is quite a weird sort of phrase, right? It's the acceptance of nothingness almost. Really cool concept there. It's almost as if to say, like, in order to find the sort of release from the pain of being by oneself is to accept it, to fall into it almost. Really deep stuff, man. Always very profound, their writing. Let's back this up and go again.
The child is grown, the dream is gone. I have become comfortably numb.
Building up. Oh my lord. I think that's what you hear when you go and meet God, man. That was a whole experience in itself. Wow. Wow, is Gilmore talented. That has to be one of the best solos I've ever heard. That was an incredibly powerful track. It was almost like a Mozart symphony in the sense that it took you to so many different places. And I've noticed that about Pink Floyd's music. They, like, from the track Us and Them is really what I notice it the most, is they will convey a lot of different emotions within one song. You had serenity, loneliness, the soaring heights of this solo where it's like, it was completely different from the first solo in the sense that the first solo was like bliss from pain, but this was something else. It was like he stepped into the other side of pain and isolation, and it was through the idea of accepting what he had become almost. He has certain lines in this thing. I guess it's I should say Waters' writing that created this. The child is grown, the dream is gone. I spoke about the idea of a fever dream when he was a kid. He said he had a fever, right, when he was a kid. And then that person or that child is now seems to be long and gone. Another reoccurring concept I spoke about happens in Pink Floyd's music a lot is the loss of who one is through time. And I think that's probably inspired by Syd Barrett, right? And so many different sort of things came together in this track. You had the orchestral background stuff, the incredible solos of Gilmore, his singing, and you had Waters' writing, really all the best parts of it. And I think what created that is that internal sort of competitiveness that they had in the band, right? Now, I read about the fact that Water said this was really the last embers of them as a creative duo. And in that chaos and in that sort of hatred for one another, hatred, you could say, for one another, is where this great art is sort of coming out of. Some people might look at that as a bad thing, like, oh, they eventually had to break up because they didn't get along. But I think it's also what created this great music. I think the same could be probably said about the Beatles, right? As they were breaking up, they were making some of their best music. So maybe in that struggle, that creative struggle, is where some of your best stuff comes out of. Who knows? These are all just kind of theories, but honestly, man, I think that is what you hear when, like, it sounds mental, but that last solo is like what you hear when you like meet an angel or something. Is absolutely brilliant, man. Has to be one of the best solos I've ever heard, for sure. I mean, what else can be said? 2 thumbs up, 10 thumbs up. I mean, I don't have enough thumbs to sort of accurately depict how brilliant that was. Yeah, one of the best tracks I've heard so far.